Alright, going to be showing you the process of installing a Ruger 1022 into a ZK22 stock. Before we get started, let's go ahead and perform a safety check and promote that safe habit. You can see there was nothing in the magazine. There's nothing in the chamber. Handling a safe firearm, so let's go ahead and begin. This is an older Ruger 1022, so it requires a flathead screwdriver to take the takedown screw out. And then I'll remove my barrel band here. Alright, so you take your safety and you place it halfway between safe and fire, which is not a naturally resting place. It wants to go to one or the other. And then just kind of like rock your stock down, remove your barreled receiver from your stock. Put your safety back into safe for the moment. Actually, I'm going to put it in fire, because if I leave it in safe, I'm going to forget that it's in safe, get the stock all assembly, won't have access to my crossbolt, and then I'll have to tear it all apart again. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put it into fire, and it'll be ready to install in the ZK22 stock. So here is the ZK22 stock. There's the one half, and here's the other half of the stock. This is the little spacer to center your tapered barrel in this .920 bull barrel channel. There are all the screws, 13 screws, and you'll be using a 9/64 Allen key to assemble it. So let's set this all off to the side here. You can see how all of this operates here. Your charging handle pushes back and manipulates the charging handle. So let's move that for the moment. This magazine release button presses up and engages with your standard factory magazine release, and then your trigger. The trigger linkage here is a very clever design. It's a very good design, mostly because of this wheel that I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to have to remove two of these screws to break it apart to assemble onto the Ruger 1022. Let's see if I can figure out which. Yep, that's the one, and that is this is a 5/64 Allen key. So let's remove these two screws on one side. You don't need to remove all four. Now, I guess at this point in the video I should probably say that I purchased this stock used. I have never seen the instruction manual for this stock. So it could be that I am missing some pertinent information and might be doing it incorrectly, but this is how it came apart for me, and this is how I'm going to put it back together. So this is a very long screw for as little as it is. So just keep twisting away. And it's in kind of a, my Allen key's so long that it wants to wobble and fall out. Be careful not to lose either of those screws. And then this part of your trigger mechanism here is going to slide off like that. Now this is kind of what makes this whole mechanism so clever. This little wheel here, you can see that there are little gears inside of this wheel, and if you pull this up and out and rotate it, it can affect how this crescent shape, how much of it is back, and you can kind of tune it to your trigger. And so you can have it so there's like the least amount of take up before it touches your actual trigger. It's very clever. It's kind of what makes the 1022 such a good trigger pull for this. Got pins falling everywhere. So I'm going to have to pull this gear out. There we go. don't think I needed to remove the other side too. I think I can just get by with this. There we go. So let's figure out where this wheel gets oriented. To take up the least amount of space. Alright, and then we'll take and put our other side on here. Press it into place. There we go. Come from above here and put our screws back in place. Alright, so you can see how easy that was. It's something that I really don't like about this stock is that if you want to break your gun down, you see that you really don't have a lot of opportunity to get to this pin to remove the trigger group. So to get to this pin to remove the trigger group, you pretty much have to take this trigger mechanism apart each time, and you can see how much screw there is that it's threading into. Then it's just a tremendous pain in the backside just to do this. So to undo this, to completely break your rifle down to clean it properly, it's a real bear. But it is a good trigger as far as the bullpup design. It's very cleverly thought out. Let's bring our little section in here. Okay, guide this all together. This lined up here. Alright. Now, you can see how your magazine release interfaces with the regular with the rifle's magazine release. I shouldn't have messed with it. Okay, and then how your charging handle. So make sure that your little safety piece is in place like that. And there's your magazine release. To my surprise, there really isn't any screw that is securing the stock to the barreled receiver. It's literally just being held in place together here. So let's kind of slide and manipulate this charging handle a bit. Ouch. Okay. Right. Let's function test the magazine release. Feel up in there and make sure that peg's moving. Yep. Okay. Hold it together and check and see that locks and latches. Let's verify that we've got it in fire. Alright. That's a nice trigger for a bullpup. And then I forgot our barrel insert. Alright, so I'm going to take this and kind of see if I can't. Okay, I had to remove my muzzle device to get the O-ring here to stretch over the end of the barrel. Alright, there we go. can see how that just kind of holds it right in place. It really only fits in one way. And now I begin the grueling task of putting my bolt seated in this little cutaway here, and then thread my screw in. So it's a pretty simple process. Let me just thread all of these bolts in, and it's pretty simple. It's a very simple assembly. It's not difficult at all. It's just time consuming with all of this screw turning by Allen key. So let me kind of jump through all the screw turning and see how it goes together. Alright, so it's all put together there. Everything is working properly. Got a nice trigger for a bullpup. Safety. And the magazine release. So, there's a close, simple look at the assembly of the Red Jacket ZK-22 onto a Ruger 1022 barreled receiver. It's a big world out there. We're bound to run into a shady situation. Until then, keep your gear on you.